The reason that Mincha of Shabbat is so special is because Mincha of Shabbat represents the future. The beginning of Shabbat is Friday night, is a commemoration of creation. The morning of Shabbat is a commemoration of the beginning of the Torah on Sinai. We actually read the Torah. But we say in the Amidah Shachrit, we say Yismach Moshe b'matnat chelko ki eved ne'eman karatalo. Moshe rejoiced in his portion, for you called him a faithful servant. Shnei luchot habrit orid biyado. He brought down the 2 tablets of the covenant in his hand. Klil teferet natata b'rosho. You put a diadem or a crown of beauty on his head, and he came down with, in other words, his face shone, his body was transformed somewhat. One of my favorite things to talk about, Moshe's body. And he brought down these 2 tablets, which were not from this world. And so it literally is referring to Torah from Sinai. That's Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon is the redemption, is when we'll be there. And so I call it the 3 R's: creation, revelation, and redemption.
Rabbi, could you say that Shem Havaya is all of creation, so we are the Shem Echad?
Shem Havaya is above and beyond creation, and also manifests creation. It's the code of manifestation from complete above to from complete how shall I say? It's the code. It's the yud is small. The essence of existence, and then it spreads out into the hay and becomes more manifest. Sprouts out to the vav and for the hay. It's called the code. That is the code of the 4 worlds, and it comes down towards us from the yud. God is above the name. God is above names, just like you are above your name. You manifest through your name, but you are more than your name. So we say about God, we're pretty careful to say that He transcends all dichotomies and all things.
So we're not part of the Shem Echad.
We are, because He's so great, because He transcends all dichotomies. So we are part of Hashem Echad. The way we were before we existed and the way we will be after we come back full circle is what the difference is. In my humble opinion, is what I'm trying to explain. If that makes sense to you, the undifferentiated now and coming back now as conscious. It's all within God's oneness. That's the principle. That's the principle as I understand it. I mean, walk around with that awareness. Walk around with the awareness that there's only God. It's a little hard, but you can. Some people go to its. I mean, I think it's something you have to grow on you, and you can't just have it as a bumper sticker. It has something that it's a maturity that we have to attain until it becomes something that we really can walk with. I don't know if everybody's comfortable with the conversation, and so if you aren't, please tell me.
What fundamental duality that we experience?
What is the fundamental duality that we experience?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? How do you think of it?
I don't see it as transcendence versus immanence. That's not what I experience.
So how do you see it?
Probably good and evil.
Good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
Light and darkness? Good and evil?
Yeah.
Not easy stuff. I mean, I write about it. I don't know what I want to say. This one is the one I was referring to a second ago, that I want to go into the deeper level of Hashem Echad Shmo Echad. This one is a chapter called The Power of Plurality. Chapter 10. So what's come before it is that Hashem created a contraforce to his existence that hides his existence, and there's a parable about it. That I want to share with you. That's the best way to get into it, I think. So, interesting parable I heard in 1974, my first year in Israel. I went to yeshiva for the first time in 1972. After college, I graduated from the University of California, so I met Shlomo Kalach, and then I traveled a lot, and 9 months later, I came back to my parents' home after traveling, and my father had had a stroke, so I had heard about it. I was out of contact with my family for that 9 months. It was a pretty difficult period of my life. I was under somebody else's influence, and I finally broke away, and I came back, and my father had had a stroke. I'm the youngest of 6 brothers, and my father was not doing so well. So that that was 2 years then that I began I met Shlomo again. He came down to Los Angeles sometimes. I went to San Francisco sometimes, and I began to keep Shabbat and learn with different rabbis and go to different doctors with my father and my mother, acupuncturists and various different things, and try and work with what was left. When my father passed away in early 1974, so I had already gotten strong enough of a sense that I wanted to go to Israel. And by shortly after Passover of that year, I came to Israel. And I learned in yeshiva for the first time. It was very difficult experience for me, and I learned a lot from it. But I also needed to get out of the yeshiva and go on trips and visit tzaddikim and see other teachers outside of the yeshiva. And so at a certain point I was learning 2-3 nights a week out of the yeshiva with Rabbi Steinsaltz, Rabbi Gedalia Koenig, Rabbi Gedalia Fleer, Rabbi Laser Berlin. Laser Berlin, I always thought it was Berlin, but it's Berlin, B-E-R-L-A-N-D. He's the rabbi of Rabbi Arush. Rabbi Arush is the rabbi of Rabbi Lazer Brody. Anybody heard of Lazer Brody? Yeah. And anybody hear of his rabbi, Rabbi Arush? Yeah. So Rabbi Arush's rabbi is Rabbi Berlin. And he was known as a genius from a young age. And he went deeply into Breslov, and he would sit there sometimes for 6-7 hours and teach without stopping. He's a master. I mean, he knows what he's talking about. And to this day, he has a yeshiva in the Old City, in the Arab section of the Old City, interestingly enough. And he's a very powerful master. And so he told this parable.
Rabbi Brody will be in New York on June 6th, June 7th.
Yeah, he's quite a guy. Once there was a great, mighty, and beneficent king who ruled over many provinces. What's the point of I'm telling this, before we forget why I'm telling it, is evil. Light and good. The light and darkness. Evil and good.